The officer raised his weapon, center mass, right at her chest. "Don't move," he barked. She didn't. But then his eyes shifted, dropped slightly. That's when he saw it. A small red dot shimmered just above his collarbone. It wasn't hers, but it moved when he breathed. She hadn't flinched. She hadn't spoken. And that's when he knew she was never the one unprotected. Real power doesn't always need to speak. It had all started just moments before when she walked through the plaza. Civilian clothes, neutral expression. No badge, no ID. Just calm, intentional steps and a worn leather messenger bag slung across her shoulder. She moved through the city like shadow through light, unremarkable. Her pace, not rushed. Her posture, relaxed, calculated. The kind of movement only someone trained would recognize as practiced invisibility. A nearby patrol flagged her. "Ma'am, stop right there." Standard contact procedure. She stopped, slowly, without protest. Immediate compliance, but not fear. 2 officers moved in, their eyes hard, hands floating near holsters. Something about her didn't fit. Didn't panic either. A 3rd officer approached, agitated, voice sharp. "What's in the bag?" She didn't answer. Didn't resist. Just offered it forward, silent. Inside, 2 notebooks, a black pen, and a sealed, unmarked envelope. Routine? Ordinary? Innocent? Or was it? "Who are you delivering this to?" the officer asked. Silence. That same silence that had followed her since the moment they made contact. No reply. No reaction. Only stillness. The 3rd officer's hand dropped fully to his weapon. "You're going to answer now." Authority laced with threat. She didn't move. Didn't blink. Instead, her eyes flicked, just slightly, toward the rooftop across the street. He missed it. He saw defiance. But what she saw was geometry, tactical distance, elevation, cover, sightline. Then it happened. The officer drew his weapon. The crowd gasped. Phones came up. Someone started filming. "This is your last warning," he said. She didn't flinch. Her hands stayed relaxed by her sides, calm under threat, unnaturally calm. And then the red dot appeared on his chest. He felt it before he saw it. His own breath made the laser bounce gently with each exhale. He froze. Then, another dot. This time, on the side of his head. A second shooter. 2 marksmen. Still, she hadn't moved. Hadn't blinked. And he realized those lasers weren't hers. She wasn't aiming. But someone was. They weren't watching her. They were watching him. That's when the officer lowered his weapon slowly. Because in that instant, the power dynamic reversed. She had walked in looking alone. But she was never alone. Some people wear security. Others walk with it. silently, invisible until needed. Across the street, in a coffee shop, a man in a faded jacket whispered under his breath. Gray watch left hand, no insignia, no radio. That's a walk we studied in recon school. Not her name, not her face. Just recognition. Somewhere else, an alert pinged at regional HQ. Pattern match. Unverified presence. Possible identification. Splice. A whisper ran through the control room. Is that her? No last name, no photo. Just the code name. Splice. In military circles, she was a myth. She didn't lead missions. She stabilized them. She was the pivot point when everything else collapsed. She didn't bark orders. She tilted her head. She didn't draw plans. She made sure exits existed. And when she showed up, someone else was always watching. She wasn't sniper. She wasn't command. She was the balance between chaos and control. She didn't need to speak, because those who protected her already knew what to do. Those red dots? They weren't hers. They were already waiting. Rooftop observers had been in place for weeks. Overwatch embedded in shadows behind vents and across rooftops, watching, waiting. They didn't need orders, just movement. Because there was one rule in the old protocol manual. If she's exposed and someone aims, don't wait. And they didn't. She stood calm. The officer trembled. He holstered his weapon slowly. She blinked, turned, and walked away toward the Marble Administration Building, envelope in hand. Just like that, the moment passed. The crowd dispersed. Phones lowered. But no one forgot, because now they knew some protection wears no uniform. Inside the facility, something strange happened. As she crossed the thresholds beneath the arched entryway, 3 security cameras flickered just for 0.7 seconds. When the feed returned, she was gone. The envelope had been delivered. No name, no receipt. Later, the officer who'd aimed at her sat in a debriefing room. You aimed at her? The commander asked. I thought she was a threat, he muttered. The commander stared at him and said, No. She's the reason the rest of us don't need to be. That afternoon, an internal memo went live on secure channels. If you see her again, lower your weapon. Someone else already has you in theirs. But who was she really? Years ago, her name echoed through sealed corridors. Evelyn Splice Vane. A quiet whisper in black site halls. The linchpin of a now defunct team, Protocol 9. She didn't lead. She arrived. Her presence alone adjusted missions. Fallbacks changed with her glance. Exit routes recalibrated with her pacing. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Some said she was a prodigy. Others swore she was engineered. Every mission she touched ended cleaner than it began. Until the op code named Midnight Fold. everything went dark. No bodies recovered, no signal traced. Splice was listed RIP. The files were sealed, access logs scrubbed. Protocol 9? Disbanded. But legends don't care about documents. In training circles, her movements were studied. In off-the-record sessions, her footage still played. Some believed she vanished, others that she never left. And now, after all these years, she stood in the open, facing a weapon, and didn't blink. Because she knew something they didn't.
The red dots always came first. She carried no weapon, but she walked through cities under the silent watch of a network no one saw coming. Why? Because someone, somewhere, decided her survival was non-negotiable. The protection that followed her wasn't about loyalty, it was about value. Evelyn Splice Vane wasn't just a person, she was a protocol. And you don't threaten a protocol, you survive it, if you're lucky. Subscribe for more silent strength and unseen legends, only on Ironheart Stories.